Hello, guys. It's Jimmy Admin again. The stories are back, thankfully, and today we'll be reading two stories actually. It's just a two-parter. They're pretty quick. They're really good, I must say. It's called The Stepmother, and the second part is called The Stepmother, Guardian Angel. Um, I found the story on Creepypasta Wikia a while back ago, and it's a very good story, I must say. Um, all right, so I'll go ahead and begin. That's Molly right there. Molly was the most charming 10-year-old you'd ever meet. A pair of the bluest eyes stood out beside her locks of wavy brown hair. On the A honor roll, an experienced violinist for her age, it may seem like she had it all, but unfortunately, such was not the case. Her mother died at childbirth, so the only parent she ever knew was her father. This caused the two to become very close. She knew that her father would give the world for her, and she loved him very much. One day, while walking home from school, she thought she saw someone different inside her house. Her curiosity aroused, she climbed on top of some sturdy boxes to see this mysterious individual. She was a woman, very tall, about 5'8" to be exact. She had bright blonde, shoulder-length hair and piercing green eyes. Molly saw this woman talking to her father, so naturally she was excited. The two of them were holding each other, laughing, and sneaking a kiss every now and then. Her thirst for knowledge now quenched, the little girl went inside. The woman greeted Molly, knowing her by name. The father had to run an errand, so the girls had each other for company. "Hello there," she said warmly. "I'm Stephanie. What's your name, darling?" "My name is Molly. Are you one of my father's friends?" Sensing the child's acute intelligence, she laughed a little. "Well, you see, your father and I are getting married in 2 weeks. Now, he had meant it to be a surprise, but it'll be our little secret, alright?" Molly agreed to keep quiet about it and went on her merry way. But she seemed something wasn't quite right about this woman. She seemed nice enough, but she seemed happy. A little too happy. But she thought everything is not what it seems, dismissing it as an irrational fear. Molly lived and let live, happy that her father had finally found the one. 4 months later. The brisk cool of fall was setting in, leaves starting to fall on the ground, and school was just around the corner. Molly's father and stepmother were happily married, although something strange started to happen. Living in the house, she would have the most grotesque nightmares. Every single time it was the same. She saw a woman with gray, decaying skin standing in her closet. The woman had the sickest, most maniacal laugh the poor child had ever heard. And every time Molly screamed, holes would materialize in her chest, and she'd be dead. The next day, Molly was in her classroom. Her face was red from crying because of what had happened that day. Well, every day for that matter. At recess, she would try to the other children, but she was met with the same result at every attempt. Ridicule. As smart and... my apologies. As smart and pretty as she was, none of the other children wanted to play with her. They thought she was smarter than normal, like she wasn't human. So every day she sat alone, wallowing in her sadness with no one there. While in class, she noticed something that caught her eye outside the window. A necklace, as it appeared, was sitting in the middle of a green expanse of plain. As soon as the bell rang, she went outside and picked it up quickly, before anyone could take her newfound novelty. She ran home. Looking behind her, she saw a black hooded figure shadowing her. Its pure white eyes had a supernatural glow, and it seemed to float. She burst into the house crying into her father's arms. When asked what was wrong, she pointed at the supernatural presence now gliding into her room. Her father didn't see anything, and secretly worried about her. That night, she found the figure by her bedside. Before she could react, the figure placed a soft feminine hand on the girl's lips and whispered, "Shh." "It's okay," the soothing voice replied. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help. What's your name? Molly asked, mesmerized. I have no name, Cloaked Entity replied. I am an angel. I lead people to the resting place. But since you have found my necklace, I have come to your aid. Take this. In her hand, sorry. In her hand, she held the same necklace Molly had found earlier that day. It was adorned with a pure white stone. Molly thanked the spirit that called itself an angel and put it on. 2 weeks had passed without incident. Molly's nightmares had vanished, and so had the kind spirit. She felt its protective presence so long as she was wearing the necklace. But one night, the figure appeared again to deliver a message. Molly, are you glad that your nightmares are gone? Yes, thank you so much, but how come I can see you tonight? I'm before you to bode a warning. There were monsters that plague your dreams, but they are not what you should fear. The monsters you should fear are the ones you can't see. Ones that you notice day in and day out, but never see them for what they truly are. The monsters that plague reality. Not everything is what it seems. As it said the last sentence, it motioned towards the door. Her mother stood there, both hands behind her. She smiled, but it scared Molly. She was twitching and shaking, eyes widened like a madman. Molly nervously asked what she wanted, and was granted with this monotone response. Molly, we haven't spent enough time together. But it's okay now, because now we'll be together. Molly never heard the gunshot that killed her. When her stepmother fired the gun, she laughed, in that same sick, maniacal cackle. And now we will work on the Stepmother Guardian Angel, which is the sequel. It's much, much, much shorter than the original. Still, it explains a little. It just goes a little bit more in depth. I love both of them, the continuation and the original, of course. There's the Guardian Angel. She looked down at what she had done. The body of her stepdaughter lied on the bed, bleeding from the gaping wound in her chest. This didn't bother the woman. She continued to laugh hysterically, her cackle ringing throughout the house. The girl's father walked in the room. He rushed towards his daughter. He soon put together the pieces of this horrid puzzle. What drove his wife to such actions? Well, she replied ominously, I can't believe you didn't see this coming. You think I'd deal with that little brat for you? Please, I never loved you. And with that, she shot him. As his dying breath escaped his lips, she kissed him, giving him a twisted goodbye. She spun around to see a hooded figure in her memory. In her memory, she recalled Molly mentioning someone who looked a lot like this. The figure soon began to speak in a distorted voice. She's dead now. Her and her father. Just as I wanted. What? The woman stammered, terrified. I was never strong enough to outright kill the girl. I may be a spirit, but I need the souls of the freshly departed to become stronger. The entire time, the woman thought of the specter as to be a figment of Molly's imagination. This notion was proven wrong. The figure stood before her. What happens when you become strong enough? I rule this world and everyone in it, except you, my dear. Why not me? I need you. There are plenty of lonely men who need a woman like you in their lives. Some of these men have young sons or daughters. Your presence will cause them to have nightmares, to fear you. Their parents won't do anything to console them. Who will they turn to? I'll place my amulet nearby, and they'll pick it right up. Kill these children, and you will be at my right hand when I take over. How do you know all of this will work? There's nothing better than the guise of a guardian angel to lure a child. Alright, let's do it. Dawn removed the amulet from the dead girl's neck with a gleaming insanity in her eyes. She left the house in search of another naive father and child. Alright, guys, well, hope you enjoyed the story. It's, if you have any suggestions for a story I could read, please do comment, in the comment section below. Of course, as always, please give it a like and favorite, and share it around with your friends. Try and get a few more subscribers, because I really want this channel to grow. Unlike all my other failed channels, I have probably about 5 or 10 of them. But please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, have a creepy day.